Hello students, today we are going to discuss about cyanobacteria. Okay, so cyanobacteria is covered in two parts. This is part 1 where we will be discussing about cyanobacteria, some examples about their cell structure, their reproduction and some toxin producing cyanobacteria. In part 2 we will be discussing about economic importance of cyanobacteria. Okay, so to avoid my video to be getting too much lengthy, I had divided the topic in two parts. Okay, so don't forget to watch the part 2 for economic importance of cyanobacteria. So let's start. So what are cyanobacteria? Okay, even in practicals you perform you at least you observe the cyanobacterial slides. Okay, some of the institutes and colleges they allow or they have the practical of isolating or propagating the cyanobacteria even, and then you observe them and study them. Okay, so cyanobacteria are what? They are free floating microscopic organisms and they are found naturally in water systems. Okay, so reservoirs, lakes, streams throughout the world. Okay, cyanobacteria are available throughout the world. You will find the at least a single type of cyanobacteria in your nearby water source. Okay, so if the water is more stagnant, it is not free flowing, then the number of cyanobacteria will flourish, they will bloom, and you will find the water turns slightly greenish, and depending on that you can say that does this water contains high number of cyanobacteria or not. Okay, a very simple trick to identify which water source you can take to observe cyanobacteria. Okay, so when the right conditions are given or they are available, cyanobacteria can grow at increasing rates. Okay, that means they can convert into a bloom, right? So though they are quite small, they often grow in large colonies. Okay, and which can become, or which we call them as scums, and the green water that indicates the bloom is present. Okay, since cyanobacteria they perform photosynthesis through their green chlorophyll A pigment, and they contain bluish pigment that is phycocyanin, they are commonly referred as blue-green algae. Okay, so the main reason behind calling cyanobacteria blue-green algae is they perform photosynthesis and they use chlorophyll A pigment and a bluish pigment called phycocyanin. Okay, so this is the reason why we term them as blue-green algae. So however, cyanobacteria is technically a bacteria and not algae because they are toxin producers. But the presence of cyanobacteria does not always pose a risk because not all the blooms produce toxins at significant levels. Okay, so a very tricky question that is asked lot of the times in your vivas is cyanobacteria is algae or a bacteria. Okay, so we will go towards that point in second slide. As cyanobacteria, they show some traits from algae and some traits of a prokaryote, that is bacteria. Okay, so yeah, so this is a general structure of a cyanobacterial cell. Okay, you can find gas vacuoles, thylakoids, circular chromosome. Okay, then some oil drops which are actually food reservoirs, then phycobilly pigment granules, then polysaccharide reserves, then jelly like covering which is slime, then protein crystals and the cell wall. Okay, now I was talking about a question that cyanobacteria are algae or bacteria. Okay, so cyanobacteria are bacteria which are classified under kingdom Monera. Okay, so we know that cyanobacteria are known as blue-green algae and is commonly confused with algae because it shares traits with algae and bacteria. So what is the answer? So the answer is we can see here in the given table that cyanobacteria are prokaryotes. They are synthetic, unicellular and multicellular. Okay, there are different types of cyanobacteria. Some are unicellular, some are multicellular. They can be filamentous. They found in many diverse habitats. They are capable of producing toxins and can form visible colonies in water. Okay, so the main reason that we classify them as bacteria is they are prokaryotes and they are photosynthetic. But algae on the other side, they are classified as eukaryotes. Okay, so don't get confused, right? Then these cyanobacteria, they include about 2000 species in 150 genera, okay, with a wide range of shapes and sizes. There are many types of cyanobacteria. Okay, in simple one drop of water you can find around 15 to 20 different species, right? If the water is too much stagnant and there is a lot of cyanobacteria bloom flourishing, then yes, you can find different types of cyanobacteria present in single one drop of a water. Now cyanobacteria, they have a variety of cell types, cellular structures and physiological strategies that contribute to their ecological success in the planktons or metaphytons or periphytons. Okay, they are of special interest to the water quality managers because many produce test and odor compounds and several types of toxins and noxious blooms. Okay, so when it comes to drinking water management or water quality management, okay, then at that particular time it is of interest of the water manager body or the water managing unit to look after these cyanobacterial growth. Okay, cyanobacteria may be unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. If we consider here about filamentous cyanobacteria, then they consist of sheath of mucilage and one or more cellular strands called as triomes or trichomes. Single trichome filaments may further divided into two types, that is homocystis, which is undifferentiated. For example, in Oscillatoria, you will find single type of cell. Okay, then heterocytus or heterocystis, which is differentiated. That means it has different types of cells or heterocyst. For example, in case of nostoc, you will find akinets and heterocyst also. Okay, so this is the difference between the triomes or trichomes. Then about flagella. So flagella is absent in cyanobacteria, but there is movement that is observed, that is mostly gliding movement and are known in number of cyanobacteria. The name Oscillatoria is a very common name of cyanobacteria that we study in our college days, right? So Oscillatoria has been given to a common blue-green alga on the basis of a pendulum-like oscillating movement that it shows at its anterior region. Okay, so this is how you identify a type of cyanobacteria. Now about cell structure of cyanobacteria. So cyanobacterial cells are larger and more elaborate than bacteria. The cell structure is typically prokaryotic. Okay, it has one envelope organization with peptidoglycan wall. It has naked DNA, 70S ribosomes, and absence of membrane-bound structures like endoplasmic reticulum, then mitochondria, Golgi bodies. These are absent. Okay, then the cell wall is four-layered with the peptidoglycan present in the second layer. Okay, you can see here cell wall has these all different parts: cell membrane, then peptidoglycan layer, and then outer membrane. Okay, cell wall, cell membrane, peptidoglycan, and outer membrane. The outer part of the protoplast contains a number of photosynthetic thylakoids. You can see here these are the thylakoids, yellow and green color. Then it is also called as chromoplasm. The thylakoids, they lie freely in the cytoplasm and their membrane contains chlorophyll A. Okay, so the thylakoid is one of the organelles which contains the chlorophyll A, carotenes and xanthophylls. Okay, chlorophyll B is absent in case of cyanobacteria. Then the attached to the thylakoid membranes are small granules known as phycobilizomes. Okay, now the latter possess accessory photosynthetic pigments known as phycobilins. So the phycobilizones, they have or they contain the photosynthetic pigment, that is phycobilins. Phycobilins are of three types. Blue colored is phycocyanin. Again, another blue color is allophycocyanin, and red color is phycoerythrin. Okay, so you can get a question on types of phycobilins in your viva. So there are three: phycocyanin, allophycocyanin, and phycoerythrin. Okay, then differential formation of phycobilins produces specific coloration which is adapted to the absorbing maximum amount of the solar radiation. Okay, so depending on the presence of different phycobilins, the color of particular cyanobacterial species will differ. Okay, as the absorbing maximum amount of solar radiation differs depending on the phycobilins which are present. So therefore, cyanobacteria are not always blue-green. They may appear purplish, violet to brownish as well. Instead of typical vacuoles or sap vacuoles, gas vacuoles or pseudovacuoles are found. Okay, each gas vacuole consists of a number of submicroscopic units called as gas vesicles, and gas vacuoles function as light screen. Okay, provide bionts, regulating mechanism, and pneumatic strength. Now, what are these gas vacuoles? So the gas vacuoles are the aggregates of hollow cylindrical structures, which we also call them as gas vesicles. And what is their role? The inflation and deflation of these vesicles, they provide buoyance, allowing the bacteria to float at the desired depth in the water. Okay, so that's why the gas vesicles or gas vacuoles are important. So buoyance or buoyancy is how it is pronounced. Okay. Then about the DNA, a naked circular double-stranded DNA, it is present and it lies coiled generally in central part of the cytoplasm known as centroplasm. Okay, because it is present in the center of the cell, the area of that particular part of the cytoplasm, is also known as centroplasm. The coiled up DNA is equivalent to the single chromosome of higher organisms, and it is often called nucleoid. Like bacteria, small circular DNA segments may also occur in addition to the nucleide, which we call them as plasmids or transposons. About ribosomes, so 70S ribosomes are present, and semicircular group of coiled membranes often attach the plasma membrane with the nucleide and is also known as lamellosome. Okay, so four types of inclusions occur in the cells of cyanobacteria, and they are A granules, beta granules, then volutin granules, and polyhedral bodies. Okay, so these are the inclusion bodies or types of four inclusions that occurs in cells. So there are some adaptations which are observed in cyanobacterial cells. So what are these adaptations? So you find structures like heterocyst, akinets, and erotopes, or erotopes. So what are these? So heterocyst, they are specialized cells that can fix nitrogen in the air, which gives an advantage of thriving in low dissolved nitrogen or nitrogen limiting environments. Okay, so that is the role of heterocyst, and you find it in nostoc. Okay, so akinets are cells which are used for survival and reproduction. It is a spore like cell capable of withstanding certain environmental extremes and germination. Okay, so kind of I can see, um, like we have endospores in bacteria. Here we have akinets. Okay, then erotopes, these allow the bacteria to regulate their own buoyancy to reach optimum depth in the water column where sunlight and nutrients are at their maximum. Okay, so they allow the cyanobacterial cell to float and be there in the desirable depth in the water. Okay, so next is about the heterocyst, very important part of a cyanobacterial um, species. Okay, so for example, we will see here as nostoc. So nostoc has heterocyst present. So what is heterocyst? So heterocyst is a large sized, pale colored, thick walled cell which occurs in terminal or intercalary or lateral position in filamentous bacteria, so cyanobacteria. The thick wall is impermeable to oxygen, but it is permeable to nitrogen. Okay, and that is the reason it is helpful in nitrogen fixation, right? So mucilage sheath is absent and photosystem 2 is also absent. Okay, then there are thylakoids. Uh, Thylakoids lack phycobilizones in the heterocyst. Therefore, photosynthesis is absent, but the cyclic photophosphorylation occurs. Heterocyst is dependent for its nourishment and on adjacent vegetative cells. Okay, it acquires the nourishment required to it from the adjacent cells, and it has enzyme nitrogenase. Okay, which is sensitive to oxygen, and that is the reason why the cell wall is thick and it is impermeable to oxygen. Okay, so heterocyst is specialized to form nitrogen fixation. Okay, then about the reproduction. So in short, I am covering here reproduction of cyanobacteria because depending on the example of cyanobacteria, the reproduction can differ. Okay, so I am not explaining each and every uh, example of a cyanobacteria here. In general, briefly, we are going to cover. So cyanobacteria mostly multiply by asexual methods like binary fission, fragmentation with or without forming small fragments, which are called as hormogone, hormogone or hormogonia. Then hormospores, akinets, endospores, nanocysts, and exospores. These are different types of asexual methods, not types, asexual methods which are used by cyanobacterial, different types of cyanobacterial species for their asexual reproduction. Okay. Typical sexual reproduction involving formation and fusion of gametes is absent, but like bacteria, gene recombination can occur by three types of parasexual methods, that is conjugation, transformation, and transduction. So last slide, that is regarding toxin producers. So cyanobacteria, we know they are gram-negative bacteria, and very few, that is 5 types of cyanobacteria are identified as toxin producers, of which Anabina flosecue, the first one, 2 strains of this particular species are identified as toxin producers. Then Aphanizomenon flosecue, Microcystis aeruginosa, and Nodularia species. Okay, so these are the 5 different types of cyanobacteria which are identified as toxin producers. So cyanobacterial toxins are of 3 main types: hepatotoxins, neurotoxins, and lipopolysaccharide endotoxins. Okay, acute illness following consumption of drinking contaminated water by cyanobacteria is more commonly by gastroenteritis. Okay, so acute illness is found, that is gastroenteritis, and it is observed that by drinking contaminated water which is contaminated by cyanobacteria, you may get this particular illness. Okay, so yeah, this was about the first part of cyanobacteria, and thank you for watching. Do watch the part 2 that I will upload soon regarding the economic importance of cyanobacteria, and that is also important because if you get a short note type of a question, then you can write answer from that particular video. So do watch that video till end, and thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Do like my videos, share my videos with your friends, and do subscribe to my channel. And yes, you can follow me on Instagram by the same handle, that is Microbial Concepts. Keep supporting, keep loving. Thank you.